And we are live. Live to the world.
Live to the world. Let's fucking go. Predictions time. Predictions. Here we go.
Editron and I are predicting Bulgaria.
Both indeed what we're doing. We are indeed doing predictions for AEW All Elite Wrestling Full Gear 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there we have it. Good stuff, good stuff, good stuff. Alrighty. Hello everyone. We are here for the predictions to AEW Full Gear 2023. Last time we had Crown Jewel, where I retained the belt by half a point. So, once again, seemingly since August, which was SummerSlam, which was, Jesus Christ, that was 3 months ago. Wasn't it? I think? Was it 4 months ago?
Yeah, it was.
3 months. Yeah, 3 months. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ever since August, I've been champion for 3 months. So my reign of terror is continuing, but let's see if this is the show where it all comes to a screeching halt. But yeah.
God, I hope so.
We have our next pay-per-view predictions video with AEW Full Gear. So yeah, I'm just trying to think where to start with this. My brain's a bit frazzled. I have to say that I have been probably the least interested in AEW's product since before Collision started at the moment.
Yeah. For me personally, I've not really been watching the product that much. The only couple things I've watched is like obviously all the clips of maybe mostly the MJF stuff. And that's kind of it. Maybe a couple bits from Swerve because he's great. And I watched MJF versus Kenny Omega on Collision. That's kind of mostly the stuff I've been watching the last couple weeks from AEW. So my investment in the show is not massive.
I watched most of Dynamite today. The only thing I didn't watch was the Jericho match because I was having an argument with someone and I had to get on the bus for work. But I watched most of Dynamite today, I can say that. But yeah, it's definitely in the last month my my sort of attention to AEW has definitely faltered. It's definitely not as I'm not as drawn in as I was. But I know at some point it's going to come back. I know at some point, hopefully around maybe World's End, that will. The interesting thing about this though is that when the build to this pay-per-view started, which was about 1 or 2 weeks before WrestleDream, I was actually really, really paying attention to the product just before WrestleDream. So weirdly, I actually do have some investment in this pay-per-view because there's been a long build to it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the sort of the more lower card stuff, I'm slightly hazy on it. However, at the very least, I still make an attempt to try and watch most of Dynamite and Collision where I can, which is more than I can say for Raw and SmackDown. So I'm not completely going in blind.
It's weird for me. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm more into like Raw and SmackDown at this point in time than I am Dynamite and Collision, strangely. And I guess it's more the idea of doing. I'm very hyped for War Games, and that might be kind of it.
I've
so I'm
always
kind of the opposite side of that paper.
I've just always found WWE's TV shows difficult. To be honest, the whole the pay-per-views are different. Premium live events are different. You know, it's a whole different presentation. But
I would say there's like stuff like Drew McIntyre's turn, I think, has been probably one of the highlights of the television at this point in time. You've obviously got LA Knight at the moment is uh, still relatively hot at the moment, coming out of Crown Jewel,
Hmm.
Judgment Day, and obviously Team Babyface. That is wild. That has taken literally 6 months of this whole year. It's like 6 months of last, like,
Yeah, it
of
really
this
has
year.
taken a
It's
long
just
time.
it has taken a very long fucking time to get to this moment, but we're finally here, and I'm very excited for War Games.
Hmm.
And everything with Gunter is always really good.
And,
So
and
for me, I'm more into Raw. I'm more into Raw than anything at the moment, despite it being
yeah.
3 fucking hours. I obviously don't fucking watch all the shows in full because
Well,
no,
that's
I
kind of
don't
what
have the time for that.
that's kind of what I meant though, is that
Yeah,
I could, I could chop in a few highlights that I've seen online from Raw and SmackDown, but in regards to watching the show, I find watching WWE shows from start to finish outside of NXT, which is actually quite watchable when there's stuff on it.
mhm,
I don't, as a start to end package, I find those shows really difficult to watch, especially Raw. Just
mhm.
there's something about the
Like
production
when
style,
I
the
yeah.
and I'm not saying that it's bad like storytelling necessarily, because it's not really to do with the storytelling, it's to do with the formatting. I've always found the formatting difficult, at least in the last sort of 5 years, at least I'd say maybe 10 years.
Yeah, and whenever I wake up in the morning after a show, I will they'll like I said, as I've mentioned, will be stuff I instantly go and find clips of or go on YouTube and find segments of what's
Yeah,
happened because I'm like interested to see what happened.
yeah.
I'm not it's only a couple things from Dynamite and Collision I'm seeking out and seeing what's going on. The only really thing at the
Well, part
moment
of that
is
part of
MJF
that's
getting
because
white.
the creatively speaking, the product in AEW at the moment is very cold in
Very
most
cool. It's not
areas.
it's
there's a,
really lost its mojo.
there's been a lot of exhibition matches lately. A lot of
Yeah.
exhibition matches, a lot of stuff that's just sort of thrown together at the last minute. I know Tony Khan and Bryan Danielson have announced a tournament, which is kind of akin to the G1, but in AEW. Again, this is just stuff there's not a lot of story to it. Obviously, MJF and Adam Page and Swerve and stuff, that's all story driven, but a lot of the undercard of AEW is really struggling with story. That's one of the things that it seemingly has lost a lot of steam with. And there's been reports going around that a lot of people backstage are frustrated with the creative at the moment with AEW. Not necessarily saying that they've been given bad stuff to work with, just more so they haven't been given enough stuff to work with, in the sense that they don't really know what they're doing until the week of the show. There's a lot less long-term planning than there was, which is concerning. I have a sneaking suspicion that because they're now doing monthly pay-per-views, I think it's wearing the product thin, and that might be why this is happening. On top of the fact that it seems like Tony Khan is taking a bit more control over Collision's creative, which again is wearing him thin. And I've also heard that QT Marshall has been taking a step back as well from his duties, which again, once QT was a big part of the sort of undercard booking, especially on the non-televised shows, like obviously Ring of Honor. Before that, Dark and Elevation he would book, and I know he's massively influential on Rampage as well. But when you've got someone like him taking a step back and Tony Khan is having to do everything, it kind of makes his space to think of things to do really hard. I mean, the guy's already super busy as it is, but when you have less people around you who are contributing to the creative process, it means that he has less room to breathe, and that can make that sort of deadline a lot harder. Because if you remember a few months ago when you had QT Marshall regularly contributing to Rampage and Ring of Honor, and you had CM Punk regularly contributing to Collision, it made the product a lot more versatile. On top of the fact that they had the stadium show coming up, so there was a much bigger hype around things. But yeah, regardless, there is still stuff to look forward to on this show, but I am a wee bit concerned, is what I'll say.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little concerned because AEW's had a very good hot streak of pay-per-views, but I have a feeling this one might not be on that level, but you never know.
At the moment, this is the least. It's fucking 9 matches, but this is the least amount of matches on a AEW card I think in a while. At the very least, they've all 11 matches.
Well, technically it's 8 matches on the main card.
Yeah.
I mean, they might announce something on Collision, but I don't know.
Though it will probably still be 4 hours.
Oh yes, obviously it's going to be 4 hours. Yeah, I think the least ever might be Revolution this year because of the Iron Man match.
That's true.
Yeah, that took up a whole 65 minutes of in-ring time plus like 10 minutes of entrances. So yeah. But regardless, the thing you got to remember about the pay-per-views.
No, that was also 9 matches, including the pre-show match. So it's the same.
So they must have just had a lot of short matches then.
All of them were over 10 minutes at the very least.
Yes, but
the shortest match was 10 minutes exactly, which was the Women's World Championship freeway.
That doesn't surprise me.
No.
I mean, I guess they just squashed a lot in without much in terms of...
Yeah, and then it's Wardlow beating Joe for the TNT Championship in 10 minutes 40. And then the rest are like 13 minutes plus, 14 minutes, 18 minutes. Yeah, and then the hour not.
How long was the death match?
24 minutes.
Yeah, I knew that was the second longest match.
Yeah.
Anyway,
that was actually same about matches, but an hour.
Well, I don't know how Tony Khan fit like 3 tents into one bag, but he did it somehow on that show. Anyway, but yeah, sometimes they can. I mean, everyone went into All Out thinking, oh, this is going to be a mid-card show, and then it turned out to be one of the best pay-per-views of the year. You know, overall. Yeah. So you never know what they can do. And you do. I do have to remember like what MJF has often said at these press scrums after the show, that the one thing about the pay-per-views is that a lot of it rests in the hands of the talent and not the creative, and that's why they're usually really good, because the talent in this company are top tier. And like a lot of it, I mean, obviously there's angles, but much of it is just Tony Khan matchmaking, which he is actually quite good at. And on a pay-per-view, when you don't have ad breaks and you have all these storylines sort of culminating, the matches feel a lot more important and the stakes are higher. Whereas when he's matchmaking on TV, a lot of it can seem quite sort of pointless. And yeah, but you know, we'll have to wait and see. There are some storylines that seem to be going quite well. I just think it's more of like the top to bottom, the structure doesn't feel like it's this cohesive unit like it was. It feels like there's a bunch of ingredients that are really good, but they're not fitting together right. Anyway, shall we start with our predictions?
I guess we shall.
Also, just a quite quick note, this show is going to be in California, I believe. It might even be in Los Angeles.
California.
Let's see. It's in Inglewood, which is part of Los Angeles.
Inglewood, California.
I'm surprised that Scorpio Sky's not on this show. Maybe he'll get a pre-show match.
Because maybe he's probably injured again.
God. I mean, he is in his 40s now, so maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Poor guy. He's getting whipped by the Sand Snakes. That's what's happening. He's having a 3-on-1 handicap match.
I was thinking that as well.
Jesus Christ. Anyway,
Oh,
so
wait for the calendar for that.
yeah, so in the description, I imagine on the VOD, after, I imagine there'll be more pre-show matches announced because the pre-show is always really long and has like 4 matches on it. They've only announced
Yep,
one
and
so
they
far.
always announce it day of, which is always perfect.
Or they announce it on like Rampage or Collision. Which weirdly this week, Collision is actually airing before Rampage on a Friday. So Collision is going against SmackDown.
Yeah, it's actually tomorrow. Yeah.
Collision's going against
3
SmackDown.
hours of AEW television in one night.
Yep.
Is Rampage live or is it still pre-tape from?
So
yesterday?
I'm pretty. Oh, that's a good question. Actually, it might be live. I was under the impression that it was
I
filmed.
imagine it probably would be.
I was under the impression that it was filmed after Dynamite, but it could be filmed after Collision as well.
Let's see if there's any Rampage spoilers. I won't say, but we'll see if there is.
It's possible that Rampage might get better viewership this week because it's after SmackDown.
No, it is live. It is live.
Oh wow!
Because
Okay.
Tony Storm is facing
Holy shit.
Sakura.
This is
whatever her name is.
So, Emi Sakura.
So that's 3 hours of AEW.
Yeah, she did say on Dynamite. She had a promo on Dynamite where she asked Luther to get Tony Khan to organize her a tune-up match, but she said it in her character voice or whatever she said. Mm-hmm. She's like, "Get Officer Khan to give me a tune-up match on Friday."
It is going to be live. Which,
yeah, they might.
Those Rampage ratings is going to be very, very funny.
Yeah, they might actually put more eggs in the Rampage basket this week than Collision because
they probably will. But then again, maybe they won't.
Because it's after Collision, it's after SmackDown, so it's going to have more eyes on it.
Maybe. I feel like it will get less viewers because I think people who normally go and wait to watch Rampage will be like mostly going to watch SmackDown and be like, I'm done for the night. I'm going to bed.
Well, I mean,
I think it's gonna get.
Yeah. Well, it's like that anyway. It's always like that. But I'm saying
that's what I'm saying. I'm saying it's gonna be even lower. I think because loads we're gonna go for SmackDown.
Well, I wasn't saying higher than usual Rampage viewership. I meant as in higher than.
No. I think it's gonna be much lower than usual.
I was saying. Let me just finish. I was saying it's going to be higher than Collision's viewership. That's what I meant. Because Collision is airing the same time as SmackDown, which is direct competition, I think Collision's viewership is going to be absolutely terrible. Like, it's going to be like 200,000.
I don't think it's going to be... I think it'll probably be more, but I don't think about that much, to be honest. I guess.
Anyway, it should be interesting. Tony doesn't seem to be throwing as many weapons at Collision this time compared to when he was doing Dynamite vs NXT, and he got walloped. Regardless, we have matches to predict. We have the ROH World Tag Team Championship on the pre-show, because we have this at every pay-per-view now, and Adam Cole is still injured. So it's going to be MJF and To Be Confirmed versus the Guns. I want us to do 2 predictions here. Firstly, predict who the TBA is, and secondly, the result of the match.
Well, I'll go first because I think this is a very obvious choice and the only choice they've kind of set up, and it's probably the one that's most interesting for me personally. I've gone with Samoa Joe as his partner.
Yeah, so have I. I feel like MJF is just gonna have to give up and bite the bullet and do it.
Yeah, and I feel like storyline wise, I think that's the most interesting.
Yeah,
imagine at this rate, it's seemingly going to be MJF and Joe at World's End, or Winter is Coming. World's End's before Winter is Coming, I'm assuming.
No, it's after. World's End is 30th of December.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I probably would do Joe at Winter is Coming.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Well, I was thinking for World's End, you do Wardlow versus MJF.
I think they need to build up Wardlow quickly then.
Well, they
got a
have been.
month to do
You
that.
just haven't been watching the TV show, but they've been having him on every week in MJF's storylines.
Oh no, yeah, I remember. What was it? Yeah, after the collision match with Omega, they showed both Joe and Wardlow.
Well, they had a
I've just
scene.
not seen much of Wardlow.
They had a scene a couple of weeks ago where Wardlow chokes out MJF on a wall, and he says, I'm gonna do something when you least expect it."
Oh, I don't know. Wardlow. I think a year ago I'd be down for that. Wardlow doesn't excite me anymore.
I'm not saying it's a good. I'm not saying it's a good idea. I just think that's what's going to happen because I think Tony. I think Tony Khan has had this idea for like fucking 5 years.
I think it should be Ricky Starks.
Well, yeah, that would be a good idea.
I
Anyway,
think that'd be a great idea.
I mean, what you could do is you could have it be Ricky Starks and then Wardlow screws MJF.
Oh, yeah, I could. Yeah.
Regardless, I also predict Samoa Joe, and I predict the MJF team to win the match.
See, I also have that, but now I'm second guessing myself because if Joe's on the team, I feel like if the idea could be he costs Max the championship. Oh, now I'm second guessing myself.
Well, I have wondered. I have wondered though because the TBA person's not going to win the belt.
Because hasn't it been established that if he teams with him, well, there's no like legal binding things that have been established in the story, but the idea is that if he agrees to team with him, he gets a title shot. It doesn't matter if they win or lose.
Oh yeah, he gets a shot at the world title. But what I'm saying is, I don't think that Samoa Joe winning this match gives him the tag belt, though. I think it's him retaining on behalf of Adam Cole.
But I also think that's a reason why he would purposely cost Max the match. Yeah, because he's gonna piss off Max, and he's now I'm saying, I don't know who to fucking pick. I've worked myself into a shoot
because that is a point of tension, right? Is that Joe? Why would Joe want to win the match when he's not going to win a title?
Honestly, I've talked myself into this. I think the Gun should win. And I think Joe should cost him. I think that's way more narratively interesting and way more satisfying and great motivation for Max to actually have a match with Joe.
Yeah.
Because the tag titles is so important to him because of Cole. I feel like that would be actually really interesting if they did that.
Oh, I agree that it's the best story potential, but as
I'm changing my mind. I'm going for the Guns. I'm going for the Guns.
My heart says your choice. My head says my choice.
Yeah. I think if Tony Khan has grapefruit balls, he will go for the Guns.
Yes, on the pre-show.
If it was on the main show, I'd be more confident. But I feel like I've worked myself into this. But yeah, I've gone for the Guns.
All right.
I'm gonna feel so fucking stupid when MJF and Joe just win, and then he just attacks him after. But that would be so much more fucking interesting if Joe costs them the titles. That'd be so much more interesting. Come on. It would be so in line with... Yeah.
And imagine if they did that.
Come on, Tony.
Imagine if they did that and they do like a Freebird rule with Juice Robinson.
That and then the other side of it, having tag team gold in Bullet Club Gold, I think would be... That would be good.
Even though technically, those belts are silver.
Okay. Yeah, the Guns. That's
anyway, so when we go to the main show, obviously we got other pre-show matches. If they are announced, we'll put the predictions in the description. We have a announcement on this show that Tony Khan has said will be done. He has signed someone to AEW that is apparently respected by all fans. For me, there's only really two people that come to mind that this would make sense for. One of them is Will Ospreay, and the other one is Mercedes Moné. So for me, it's just it's just which one is which. I'm gonna take a little gamble. I'm gonna say Mercedes Moné because I think that's more of a surprise.
I agree. It's probably more a surprise, but I think it's more likely to be Mercedes. Because she obviously the other day said that 2024 I'm gonna be wrestling a whole bunch.
Yeah, I also feel like I also think with Will Ospreay, I think his All Elite graphic will come after Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah, I feel like he can't. I don't think even legally he can.
Yeah, I think he's
Like,
going to be.
see that
I think
anyway.
his New Japan contract, regardless of when it was supposed to end, I imagine the agreements are up to at least Wrestle Kingdom. That's that would be my understanding of it. So I'm going to say Mercedes
I
Moné,
feel like that is the case. Yeah, I've also gone for Mercedes Moné.
which would be absolutely massive. By the way, that would be huge.
Okay.
I hope. Imagine. I can just imagine because you know how she's quite. You know, she very much stands up for what she believes in. She was always like that with Vince McMahon. I would love it if in a conversations with Tony Khan and potentially people from Warner Brothers Discovery, you know, with Turner Network and whatever. Imagine if in her negotiations she says, if you sign me, you have to add an extra women's match on the TV shows. I don't think she has that kind of power, not even someone of that level, but that would be, I imagine, surely there has to be something they can do. Something that they can do to get more women's matches on TV. It's just needed. Bloody NXT has 2 women's matches at least every week. Come on, we can do this. If you sign Mercedes Moné, you have no excuse. If you sign Mercedes Moné and you have Jamie Hayter return, and you have Thunder Rosa return, it's like, what more do you need? These people will get TV ratings if you put them in matches. Anyway, what would be like a massive swerve for like who this announcement is that would be just so bizarre? Bloody Grado or something. I'm trying to think like someone that's associated with LA. Or what if it? Wait, so apparently it can't be any of the people that were recently released because the 90-day non-compete's not up yet.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like Dolph Ziggler or Matt Riddle or any of those people. Very peculiar. Anyway, speaking of women, we have our AEW Women's World Title match, which I'm actually very much looking forward to. By the way, I think this is actually one of the things that they have been doing well. Weirdly, for AEW, they've actually been doing this quite well on their TV shows, or at least one side of it. We have Hikaru Shida versus Timeless Toni Storm. So this is a match of sort of 2 sides of a story. They're not necessarily tied together in the feud as much, but in terms of the actual involvement on TV itself, what they've basically done is they've had Shida being a fighting champion, so she's been doing all the matches in the ring. That's been her contribution to the feud. And then on the other side of that, you got Toni Storm doing the polar opposite, which is she's been having all of her backstage interviews and her video packages. She now has Luther as her butler. RJ City's there for all her interviews. And on top of that, AEW has signed Mariah May from Stardom, who is Toni Storm's biggest fangirl. So she has quite a sort of a group surrounding her and sort of a cast of characters within her storyline. I think that it makes sense to put the belt on the hottest act in the company, even though this character, Timeless Toni Storm, was born out of the fact that she lost the belt. I feel like the idea of seeing what would happen to her when she gets it back would be interesting. There is an argument to be made for Shida retaining because of the fact that she became this way by losing the belt. But having said that, Toni Storm at the moment is the most... Well, she is, in terms of the female roster, she has the most going for her. And she also has a lot of characters surrounding her, which can probably help her out in this match. Not only you have Luther the Butler, but you also have Mariah May as well. I imagine they're probably going to either contribute to her, helping her win, or they're going to accidentally sabotage her to lose. So yeah, I'm going to take a slight gamble and say Timeless Tony Storm to win back the belt. But, I was thinking, actually no, I'm not going to use it yet. I'm just gonna go with a straight prediction. Timeless Tony Storm.
I've also gone for Tony Storm. I think they should just put the belt on her because she's great.
Yeah,
Should get her gimmicks over. It's really creative. I feel like you should put this character with the belt. I think it'd be really, really, yeah.
I've also loved how over the course, ever since she lost the belt on Dynamite 200 or whatever it was, the transition in her character has been very gradual. So each week she's become slightly more insane, and it seems like there's just no limit. And if she wins the belt, she's just gonna go even more insane.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like put the belt on her.
Because I remember when she first debuted the character, it was in like a backstage interview on Collision with Lexi Nair, and her sort of, you could tell something was different with her tone and her dress. She had like the curls in her hair and like the hand over the chest, and it was like, oh, this is different. But over time, they've slowly added more and more and more to the character, and she's just become absolutely fucking balls bananas at this point. Like the scene she had on Dynamite this week was like something out of a panto. It was crazy. She was like lying on a couch with like her hand over her head. It was so melodramatic. And she's like, "Oh, Luther, why did you answer the door?" Yes. Also, her matches have been very sexual as well. You see that one with Sky Blue where she was like grabbing her ass? Jesus.
No, I didn't.
Ugh. Let's just remind you all, even though she's over, she's still a heel. Because,
yes.
touching people without consent is not okay. Just say. I don't know if they could... I honestly, imagine this character in, like, Vince's WWE. It would just be so weird. It probably wouldn't come out the right way. Because I think the difference is that under people like Vince McMahon and John Laurinaitis, the Timeless Tony Storm character would be really creepy. You know, especially like back in like the Ruthless Aggression era. But the thing with this is it feels like she's in charge of everything her character is and does. You know? And so that's why it kind of fits. And also it's that nuance in her character. It's not she's grabbing women in places because she's like, you know, horny. She's doing it because it's that really toxic 1950s backstage actors touching each other up kind of like culture. You know, it's just they were very hands-on back then. Yeah. It's like, you got a bit much round the trunk there, darling. You might want to cut down. Like, it's like that kind of really just weird thing that they had back then. Anyway, moving on. We have a 6-man tag team match, which I think... I think half the build for this match has been really good, and then half of it's been really lacking. And that has
Ever
been...
since Flair came in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus. So they have all the right people in this match. Like, apart, obviously, Ric Flair. Obviously, Ric Flair being part of it is strange. But they have all the right ingredients here. The first half of the feud, when Adam Copeland first came in, the whole, go fuck yourself promo, that was all great. The setup, especially the promo that Sting did with Adam Copeland backstage, about Lex Luger and how he trusted him and he was wrong to do so. It's like trying to get Adam Copeland to see the light about Christian Cage. That stuff's all fine. This is all coming off Wrestle Dreams ending. But I just think in the last couple of weeks, I feel like Adam Copeland's momentum has really fallen in AEW, and it's been a bit of a waste of his
Yeah.
talent. So yeah, I'm not sure.
I just don't. There's no real anything happening in this match, and it really should realistically be Adam Copeland versus Christian.
I guess they're holding off on it.
Yeah, they are, and I don't think they should be.
Hmm. So I
Because what are you saving it for? What are you saving it for?
anyway, to the best of my memory, I believe Sting hasn't lost in AEW, so I'm going to say Sting's team wins.
Yeah, I've also gone for Sting, Darby, and Copeland.
Hmm. Yeah. So what do we think Ric Flair's going to do? Reckon he's going to take some bumps?
He's gonna. Woo! That's what he's gonna do.
Elbow his jacket.
Yeah, I just don't care about Flair. I don't care. I'm sorry, I don't care.
Yeah, he's definitely. Oh Jesus! Ever since he stepped
I've
foot,
not cared. I've not. Yeah, yeah.
ever since he stepped foot in TNA, he's just not been the same.
No, he generally has a problem. He can't stop.
Yeah. He's been for 13 years at least. He's just been so past
Like
it.
Ric Flair being in AEW, it just in like for Sting's last hurrah is like in some ways I can see that being an interesting idea, but these last I just don't care.
I mean, a lot of people are bashing it because of the moral double standards with Tony Khan. You know,
there's that, yeah.
yeah, he's talking about how Vince is sexual misconduct, but then Ric Flair also had sexual misconduct as well, if not worse, back in like 2001. Oh no, sorry, it's 2002 with the Blade Run from Hell. Yeah, I don't know. I don't really get involved in that side of it because it's just all Twitter bullshit. I don't think Tony Khan takes himself that seriously online. He seems like he's just like, well, I've got billions of dollars, I can just say whatever I want. There's no consequences. He's one of those guys. And not everything he says is terrible, but sometimes I feel like he should just be a bit more conscious of what he's saying. I think sometimes Tony Khan cares too much about what people online think of him. He had that whole big explosion about the WWE trolls that time. That like were trolling him when his mum was going through a life-threatening situation. Which to be fair, that's quite. I can understand that hurt, but the solution to that is not say, "Oh, I have a hateful grudge against them." It's to just stop going online. Just disengage with them. Ignore them. Disconnect. Move on. Don't give them any breath. By saying that it bothers you, you're just giving them what they want. I would expect someone who owns a multi-billion-dollar family company would know better, but apparently not. The guy's 40 years old. He's a grown man. So, whatever. Regardless, I believe Sting's team will win. Now, the next match is interesting. It is a rematch from All Out for the AEW International Championship. It is Orange Cassidy versus Jon Moxley again. No stipulation, weirdly. I would have expected a stipulation for this match, given that it's a rematch, but apparently it's just another straight singles match.
I mean, that's not going to probably stop Moxley from bleeding.
That's true. That is very true. Now, given that Jon Moxley won it All Out, I have gone for a risky move, and I've chosen Orange Cassidy to win this match. But, just to play on the safe side, I'm going to make this my Androzani pick.
Well, I've also gone for Orange Cassidy, and I've also picking this as my Antrasani.
Oh god, okay.
so so
So we either get half a point each or we lose a point each.
so it doesn't matter now. We've cancelled each other out.
Well, that's a bit silly. I mean, it makes sense though. It makes sense though because this is the match on the card where I feel like the outcome is the least predictable. It's hard to say what's going to happen with this.
This one, I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
I think Cassidy's going to win, but I'm only like 60% sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I pretty agree with that. Yeah.
Yeah, I say that because they've already wrestled and he's got the belt back.
Yeah.
Like to do just a straight repeat of All Out, I feel like it would be strange.
It would be strange, yeah. Unless they do a particular angle, but yeah.
And how massive would that be for Orange Cassidy if he beats Jon Moxley?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to it. There's an actual really good story that's tied into this match because of its long build. They've gotten away with it here with this one. I mean, a lot of the best matches on this card were feuds that started before Wrestle Dream. You know what I mean? A lot of them are long-running stuff that started before Wrestle Dream, but the stuff that started after Wrestle Dream, that's the stuff that's not so strong. Anyway, speaking about something that is strong that was started before Wrestle Dream, we have another match with Hangman Adam Page and Swerve Strickland, which was they also had a match at Wrestle Dream, which Strickland won. This time is a Texas Death Match, which is Hangman's sort of home stipulation, if you will. He beat Moxley in one of those, and he beat Lance Archer in one of those, and I think he won another one at some point.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the Cowboys' favorite match style, and given that Strickland won at the last pay-per-view, I think Adam Page is going to win this. And not only because it's a rematch, but also because, firstly, Strickland did a thing where he went into his house and looked and like talked to his child, which is like, it's hard to believe a heel would win a match after doing that. It's a bit like I remember when CM Punk poured Paul Bearer's ashes all over the Undertaker. I'm like, yeah, he's not breaking the streak. Like, there's no way. It's just the WWE would not have Punk break the streak after he poured Paul Bearer's ashes over him, which apparently was actually dog litter. That was what they used.
Yeah.
But Adam Page did a promo on Dynamite that was probably the best thing on that whole show. It was a very, very passionate promo. And I think this match, having Adam Page overcome Swerve in this Texas Death Match, could really put him back on track. I already said that he was getting back on track with the last pay-per-view, but having him win this, I think would be huge. I don't know what you do after. Maybe they even have a third match at World's End, I don't know. But yeah, I suspect that because it's a rematch, I'm going to predict Hangman to win this Texas Death Match.
Well, I've gone for Swerve Strickland.
Mm.
And my reason being is, like I said, I think Ricky Starks should probably be the last challenger. Or another choice would be Swerve Strickland. And I think a MGF Swerve Strickland match would be really great. I don't think this feud has been built around, at least from the meta sense, of who will probably be like MGF's next big challenger. And Page winning when MGF is his most babyface over would not make sense. Obviously he could win and not challenge, but I feel like then what do you do with Adam after this? Do they have another match? Then you risk it outstaying its welcome. What do you do? Because at this point he's been now on this singles run for quite a while. He's got a challenge for something. Like I guess he could go for the TNT championship, but that's sort of in another story at the moment.
I
He
feel
could go
like
for the international. I
I
think
don't.
Cassidy's going to win.
So the TNT title with Christian Cage is great in terms of character, but in terms of actual, what's the word, hierarchy, I think the TNT title is beneath Adam Page because
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't.
I know
Yeah.
during the brawl out period with Punk that Page was not booked strongly on TV. I will say that outside of obviously the Revolution Moxley match, and he did faff around with the Elite for a while with Blood and Guts. However, I've always seen Adam Page as one of the main characters of AEW, and his entire character is so tied to the world title that that has been his MacGuffin since day one in the company.
Mm-hmm.
It's always been about the world title, and I don't. Obviously, tag titles, 6-man tag, whatever. That's fine. That's to do with the Elite storyline. But when we're talking about singles belts, I feel like Adam Page only cares about the world title. That's his always been his goal. And I just think for his character, it would be strange for him to go for either the international or the TNT title.
Yeah, that and I agree. I agree with that. I just don't think putting him in a feud with MJF would work at this point in time because I feel like you run the risk of people turning on Page because I think MJF
Yeah.
is so over and sympathetic. I just don't think that would work without turning Page heel or tweener, and I
Yeah.
don't think that even tweener would work.
I mean,
I think it makes more sense for me for Strickland to get over really strong and then challenge MJF because I think that's a money match as well. I think that's the more interesting match.
Certainly, I would definitely agree on that.
That's why I've gone for Strickland.
Yeah. Anyway,
I could see Adam winning this match, for sure, because it is a Texas death match. But I think it's more satisfying and it's more logical for future stories that Swerve wins this match because I think there needs because I think Paige is already always going to be around that world title picture, but putting Swerve over extremely strong in this feud, I think puts him on that same level, and him then going for the world title makes so much sense if he wins this match.
Yeah.
I feel like if Adam does win this match, I will personally feel that is the wrong call. For me personally.
Fair enough. Anyway, so the next match I have very, very mixed feelings about because there's things there's things about this feud that I really like, and there's things about this feud I really dislike. And that is the Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks. So I'll start with the good. The good part of it is, so obviously there's a lot of history with everyone involved with this, right? They were all there from day one, and Kenny and Jericho had the Wrestle Kingdom match, and obviously they wrestled again at the start of AEW. They are now together. Having Kenny against the Bucks is a fascinating idea. I don't think we've really seen that since 2020. Because there was that match with Kenny and Adam Page versus the Young Bucks, which a lot of people say is the best match in company history. A lot of people like that match a lot. So there is a lot of potential with those dynamics going on. And I think, well, like I said, it's because it's not TV, because it's pay-per-view, the talent involved can make something really interesting out of the story in the match, right? So that's the good part of it. However, the negative part of it is I feel like these characters, especially the Golden Jets, have really fallen off a cliff recently on TV. I feel like Jericho's storytelling poison has kind of infected the Elite. And
the Jericho Midcar Vortex.
Yeah. And it's the whole thing of like Kenny, Jericho, Ibushi and the Big Show walking in those jackets is just so cringe to me. It's I don't care. I don't think it's fun. I mentioned that it was the only thing on Dynamite I skipped, and obviously I was busy doing other things, but if I was prioritizing it, I would have watched it. But it's the one thing where I went, yeah, I don't care. I don't need to see this because I just don't care. Just like anything with Chris Jericho on TV these days, it's so skippable.
It's been like that for over a year now.
Yeah, ever since he lost the Ring of Honor title.
That was the last really good thing he did, yeah.
And I just, oh man. I mean, he had that great promo with Will Ospreay. I will give him that. The one before All In. It's one of his best moments in AEW.
One segment that is like, yeah.
That was incredible. But
and the match was good, to be fair.
Yeah. But this whole Golden Jets thing is not working.
I could not care less about this match. This is probably the one match that I'm like, I don't care about anybody.
And that's a shame because you got four.
I know nothing about this feud either. Realistically, I don't know anything about this feud. Why it's come about.
Well,
why Omega and Jericho are teaming.
Well, weirdly, Kenny's made references to Punk because he's called the Young Bucks like.
That's the one thing of this feud I think I've seen online.
Yeah, he's like, "Oh, you're acting like petulant babies."
Yeah, so it says in the stipulations, and that this is the first time I'm seeing this. Like, when I was doing my predictions, if the Golden Jets win, which also is a shit name by the way, they will get they will get the Young Bucks World Tag Team opportunity. But if the Young Bucks win, the Golden Jets they must disband as a team. And I'm like, who fucking cares? So I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm saying the Bucks win because who the fuck cares about the Golden Jets?
Yeah, and this. Do you know why this is such a shame? This is like four of the most significant people in the company. They're not like mid-carders or anything. These are actually like supposed to be really important people.
Two of them were former world champions.
Yeah. And it's so strange to have four of their crown jewels in this match, and they're just not very good in this feud. It's very strange. I mean, I've thought that the Young Bucks as characters have been on the downward slope for a while, at least on TV. Maybe on Being the Elite, they've been fine, but in terms of AEW TV, they've been pretty average for a good while. Kenny has been very up and down. I think his stuff with Takeshita was really good, but then everything else has been a little off.
You know, they haven't done a Being the Elite episode in like a month.
Really?
The last one was episode 368, and that was the start of October.
Is that because I guess it's because of this, right? Because of this feud?
I don't know.
Like it might be them protecting kayfabe.
Right now, maybe? It's seemingly Colt Cabana has taken over.
Right.
It's Colt on the street, Colt in Cutler versus the Butcher and Blade. There's this they even like 9 days ago posted a clip from episode 123, which was of Cody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I imagine
I don't know what's going on.
Because you do got to remember that Being the Elite is apparently canon, so.
Oh yeah, they've always said yeah.
So they do maintain kayfabe. That's always been my that's always been my beef with the Elite on TV is that they ask you to watch third-party content too much.
It would be like if Chris Chibnall asked people to go watch, listen to Big Finish, so that the Timeless Children makes sense.
Christ. Yeah.
This is why the Master is right. This is fine. This works.
Yeah.
Even though it doesn't.
Yeah, I know that over the course of history, Jericho has been really good at reinventing himself, but I genuinely think he's just out of touch at this point.
last 2 years, I think.
He's,
Yeah, I
he's
think
really struggled.
his sort of it's sort of waning.
The first few months of the JAS were actually really good. Like the first few months
It
of
was
it.
a really cool and interesting idea, and they did not. They somehow it felt like they never ever got going ever.
Well, again, I think it wasn't just them though. The basically after Brawl Out, AEW creative just kind of shit the bed for a while.
It went down the shitter.
Yeah. So, yeah, and
Yeah.
unfortunately, in the last month they have slipped a bit as well, which is a shame.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't care about this match.
Yeah, whatever. I predict the Young Bucks to win. We have another women's match. Yay, 2 women's matches on a pay-per-view. Can we please have 3? Last year we had 3. Last year we had 3.
We've regressed.
Yeah, we have.
Well, Tony Khan is he's so regressive.
Because
where's woke Tony Khan?
Because last year, fucking hell. Last year we had Nyla Rose versus Jade Cargill for the TBS title. We had Jamie Hayter versus Tony Storm for the women's title. Fucking great match. And then we also had Saraya versus Britt Baker as well, because that was Saraya's debut.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for this one, now this is quite interesting actually. We have a three-way match. They can't call it triple threat because that's copyrighted by the Fed. But we have a 3-way match for the TBS title, which is Statlander, Julia Hart, and Sky Blue. So the interesting element to this match is that it's weird because the champion's actually the least involved in the feud. What has happened is that Julia Hart has been misting girls. She tried to miss Willow Nightingale. She tried to miss Willow Nightingale, but Willow Nightingale survived. I think she's just too babyface. She can't turn heel. She was able to withstand the poison. But with Sky Blue, she's had mist under her eyes for about a month. And she seems her entrances her entrances have been slowly getting slightly more evil as time goes on, and she's been getting more aggressive and less happy, which has been an interesting development for her character. But having said that, I have a funny feeling that because of that feud, Julia Hart and Sky Blue are going to cancel each other out, and Statlander is going to retain. That's my prediction.
I think that I've also gone for Statlander, but I think another way this could go, as this potential is, Sky Blue allows Julia Hart to win. That is a possibility. And that it fully takes her over, and she possibly joins.
Oh my goodness, she'll be champion at 21 years old.
But that's the thing, because the last sort of year, Julia Hart she's gotten massively over. She's so much more better in the ring than she was a year ago. It feels like that, and creatively, that sounds pretty interesting. But I think they are going to go the route of Statlander retaining. But if Julia Hart does win this match, I wouldn't be upset about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't think Sky should win. I don't think Sky should win this match.
No, she's not ready for a championship yet. No. She's too green.
No. But Julia Hart, I think, would be a very interesting choice if they did go that route.
Yeah, because the thing that Sky Blue can't do yet is cut promos. But what she can do is she can do an entrance really well.
Yeah.
And
Julia Hart people would love her, Julia Hart.
Well, yeah, she's great. The one thing I've noticed, I've seen someone say online, and I kind of agree with, is that the House of Black and specifically the male side of it, they are falling into the trap of becoming lore merchants as opposed to actually involved in character storylines.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is what happens to a lot of the more sort of esoteric characters. It happened to Bray Wyatt.
It's what kind of I'm about to say. There's that sort of thing that happened to Bray quite often.
Happened to Bray Wyatt quite a bit. And happens to a bunch of those more spooky characters.
The strongest part of their faction has been Julia for the loss, realistically. Yeah,
ever since they lost the trios titles, for sure. I mean,
even before then.
See, when CM Punk was booking Collision, the House of Black was great.
Yes.
When they had that,
very heavily featured.
they had
Buddy
that.
Matthews had that fantastic match with Andrade, which
He had
was
two.
awesome.
He had that fantastic singles match, and then later at the end of the feud, he had that great ladder match with him as well.
Yeah. But yeah, I think this should be an interesting match. This could be quite
Yeah,
quite
for
good.
I'm very
yeah.
intrigued by this. Like, I think they could tell a really good
Yes.
story, and also because
Yeah,
it's
and
got because
Statlander has been, I think, been a really good TBS champion.
yeah, she's a absolute
I think
workhorse in the
without
ring.
really having like a major feud. So I think if they did drop the belt to Julia, I wouldn't be upset about it.
Yeah,
but I think she is returning.
Well, I think what you have with this match is you have a combination of both story and in ring that would be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm
Definitely.
certainly want to. I want to make a statement to Tony Khan if he's watching, which he isn't, but if he is, I am so much more interested in the TBS title match with the women's wrestling than I am with the Golden Jets by 10,000 miles.
By like an absolute distance, bloody hell.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
Right now, every single women wrestler is way more creative than Chris Jericho right now. I don't think that's even like that big of a statement to make. Because look at Toni Storm. Look at how great Sheeta is. Look how great obviously Chris is, and Julia, and how great she's doing all the stuff with Sky. Like I
will say
give them more segments and give them more matches and allow these wrestlers to get better, because there is so much stock in, like, you see how fucking over Julia's been from last year to now. She's not done like that much in terms of like massive amount of wrestling.
Just think about it though,
importance. She's just naturally gotten over.
At some point in the future, we are probably going to have Jamie Hayter and Thunder Rosa back as well, and Serena Deeb and Britt Baker. There's so many people on the sideline.
It's like you can. It's like WWE from like 2016, where there could only have been one women's story, and it was always for the title.
It was always bloody Charlotte
They
Flair
never
as well.
did. Yeah, they never did multiple women's feud, and right now they are, but like there's so much talent in that women's roster that they're just not using, and we've been saying this for 3 fucking years.
Nyla Rose is one of the funniest promos in the business. She's so good. I genuinely think Nyla Rose could get massively over as a babyface if you just book her the right way. Then you've got obviously
in that first couple months of the company they did, and now they haven't done.
And what is it? What is it that everyone has been saying about Athena? It's like she's been doing the best work of her career, but it's not on TV.
I've heard she's been the best part of Ring of Honor.
Yes,
and it feels like she's finally gone, because my whole thing with Ember Moon since day one till her last day in the company was that she just didn't have a character, and she never did. I wanted to like her, but I never could because I never cared about her as a character.
Remember, she had
great wrestler.
She had that great match with Kairi Sane.
Yes, her match with Kairi Sane was great, but I never felt as if she was an actual character. Now she does have a character, and she's hardly ever fucking featured on like mainstream television.
Yeah,
it's just Ring of Honor.
The character's really interesting as well. It's like she's kind of like half babyface, half heel.
Put her in a feud for the world title. How hard could that be? She's ready to like make that step up. Put them on the main roster.
Yeah. Also, I've also just, why is it that with Hikaru Shida, it's like the only character she can have is I'm a wrestler, and I am Japanese, and I have cool clothing, and I have a stick and a chair. It's like there's more to life than martial arts.
Remember when Kenny was out and we were all saying, well, once he gets back, then it will start picking up again like it did in that first year of AEW, and it's not done. That's not happened. There's been hardly any like long-term feuds. There's been a lot of long-term feuds, but there's not been like multiple feuds at the same time. It's always one match. It's always in the second hour quarterly, first quarter. And that's all they've been given, especially the last couple of months. It's just I don't get it.
Yeah,
you put so much stock in the fact that We are different. We are alternate. We give people opportunities. Tag team wrestling, that goes up, and as it should. But there's so much talent in that women's roster. They're not fucking lacking of talent. Absolutely not. They've hired like everyone under the fucking building. Yet you can only give them 2 matches on pay-per-view.
And if they're about
Sometimes
to hire,
1.
if
Christ.
if they're about to hire Mercedes Moné, there's just no excuses. You have
Mhm.
one of literally the
You
biggest.
have to have. Realistically, they should be having 4 segments on a show. Realistically, and on pay-per-view, 3-4 matches.
Oh yeah, they should be having 2 matches and 2 promos
Like
on a 2-hour show.
who would rather watch a women's feud match that is relatively hot, or watch the Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks?
But you're just gonna justify
Like-
having 3 of the EVPs and Chris Jericho on the show.
Yeah, but yeah, Chris will win.
Chris Statlander, yeah.
Chris Thunder will win.
She's
Anyway,
the Chris
Moving on.
she's the Chris I care about on this show.
Yes, absolutely. But not Christian. Christian Cage.
Oh well, yeah. Well, Christian Cage is pretty great, but he's been
He
a
is
bit
great.
he's been a bit lost in the shuffle with all the Ric Flair that's been going on.
Yeah, I've not seen any great Christian stuff, which is a shame because he probably isn't doing much. Which is true. After the whole "go fuck yourself" angle, that got so fucking over on Twitter, and they haven't done anything like that since, which just shows through. They haven't. I doubt he's even wrestling a promo of him talking about his dad that he never knew. Like, there's so much. Just do the match now. Why? What are you waiting for? Just do the match now. You can have another match at some point down the line. That's fine, as long as the story's good. Why? Just do the match now. If you want Sting on pay-per-view, have another match. I don't fucking know. You don't. He doesn't have to be on this pay-per-view. His last pay-per-view was Revolution. It's fine.
Put Sting
Put him on World's End.
Put
Put
Sting
him World's End. That's only a month away.
put Sting in the Golden Jets match.
The Derby instead. I'd be more interested because that'd be Kenny Omega versus Sting, Young Bucks versus Sting, Derby versus the Young Bucks, Derby versus Omega.
Well, what you do
Chris
is
Jericho will
you
be
do Darby Allin and Sting with the Golden Jets versus the Young Bucks and Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne.
That would be fun. That
Dude,
actually would be fun.
Imagine Nick Wayne and the Young Bucks doing moves together with the big
And that'd be
beefy
good experience
Luchasaurus.
for Nick as well. That would be good
Yeah.
experience. I don't care. And then just do Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage for the team title.
Yeah, and then on
And
the
do
other
whatever.
on the
Do
other
whatever.
side on the other side of that, you've got Darby Allin and Kenny Omega on the same team as well. See, I know how to
Just
book
something
these
like
things.
that.
I know how to book this stuff.
Yeah,
I know
I
them
don't, I
too.
don't care about. I don't care about the Golden Jets. Who cares?
It should be the Golden Scorpions.
Anyway, speaking of more tag teams,
It should be the Golden Scorpions.
yeah. Speaking of more tag teams,
They should have just thrown those. No, stop that. They should have thrown the Golden Jets and the Young Bucks into this next match and made it a 6-way tag match.
You know what? Fuck it. Yeah, why not? Just go fucking wild with it.
Have a 12-person match.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Why not?
Just do an elimination chamber and change the name. Or
Yeah,
do a
something like that.
6-team ladder match. That would be fucking insane.
Yeah, why not? Fuck it. Fuck it. Do a ladder match. Why not?
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway,
Do a ladder match. Hey!
tag team.
I got it. Do a 6-team ladder match in place of what we're about to do. Put the Golden Jets in there, put the Young Bucks in there, and then use that missing space that's left over to do what was it? You can either do Adam Copeland versus Christian Cage and then do a tag with Sting, Darby versus Luchasaurus and Nick Wayne. Put that on the card elsewhere. Or if you have to keep that 6-man tag team match in its place, then use that time to add a 3rd women's match.
Definitely.
With a feud. With an actual
That'd be nice.
feud. Yep. Anyway, we have a 4-way tag team match for the AEW World Tag Team Championship, which weirdly is not involving the number one contenders. It's very strange booking.
Very strange. So much for being number one contenders.
Yeah. Again, this is
More
probably
like
just
number more. They're literally the fourth contenders.
It's very weird. It's like a, I don't know. I know that they say it's opportunity and it's not guaranteed to be at the next pay-per-view, but it's just a strange sidestep for the tag division. Regardless, a lot of this match has been on the feud of this whole match has been on Collision, because you've got Ricky Starks and Big Bill, you've got LFI, Roosh and Dralistico, you have FTR, and you have Kings of the Black Throne. All characters that have been on Collision as of late.
Yeah, this is a Collision Fatal 4-way tag team match.
Yeah, it's a bloody Collision. Now the rules of this match, is it going to be the one where it's like 2 people in the ring at a time?
It probably will be.
Dude, why can't they just do a tornado tag team match?
Yeah, but it's harder for the wrestlers.
Oh.
I say that not as an actual wrestler. I'm sure it's absolutely a pain to do it.
I know it is.
Fucking do it.
And also,
do it.
You can't trust those referees to track who's doing what.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
well, would it be harder, or just fucking have it be tornado tag? I don't know.
A tornado tag team match isn't as hard if you make it a ladder match, but that's hard in a different way. It's just hard bumps as opposed to hard tracking.
It's just a bit more brutal. Yeah. Yeah, they'll just do 2 people in the ring.
Why couldn't they have just done a tag team gauntlet?
That would be interesting.
I know that that's a WWE stipulation. That's probably why they wouldn't do that.
Yeah, well, fucking loads of people do gauntlets.
I mean, you could do it with like a casino format.
You could, something like that.
And then the Joker is some random team that you've hired for one night. Bloody Ric Flair and Arn Anderson. bring back the 4 Horsemen.
No, God.
Anyway, so I have got I've chosen Ricky Starks and Big Bill. I don't have a massive reason for it. I've just decided to do that.
I'm the same. The only team I feel like definitely isn't winning is Rush and Dralistico.
Well, I would say Kings of the Black Throne, actually, because it's like they're 2 members of
I'd put them third.
Trio.
I would put them third, and then it's between FTR and Starks and Bill.
I mean, the only reason why I would say LFI isn't is because Dralistico isn't high enough on the card to win something. I don't even think Dralistico is signed to AEW, actually. I'm pretty sure he's on
that's why I think that's why they're the least likely.
He's on a per appearance deal, so I'm pretty sure I mean, the thing is, Roosh winning is believable enough, but if it was like Roosh and Andrade, then I could believe it.
Yeah, then I would probably put them third.
But because it's Dralistico, I don't think so. It would be even. Imagine if it was Dralistico and Preston Vance, then they definitely wouldn't be winning. Yeah, I think. I mean, FTR just lost it to Ricky Starks and Big Bill, and Starks is over. But then again, as you say, maybe they want Starks to go for MJF, so they could lose it. I don't think that Starks and Big Bill are going to have a massively long reign, but I imagine they'll probably retain at this show and maybe lose it at the next one, like Winter is Coming or something.
Sorry, possibly.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I've gone for Ricky Starks and Big Bill. And I hope that, because pretty much everyone involved in this match, can have really interesting in-ring stuff. So I hope that this match is probably just going to be more focused on what's going on in-ring. But then again, Ricky Starks always adds something character related to it, so there's always going to be that. Yeah, just let FTR book the match, and then it'll be good.
Yeah.
Let them be their own agents. Or just whoever was the agent for the FTR Bullet Club Gold match. Let them decide. Anyway, there's quite a few creatively minded people in this match, so I'm sure it'll be a nice mess of bodies. Anyway, That said, we have the main event, which I actually am very much looking forward to. This could be an all-timer.
Yes.
Because despite the fact that WWE creative, not WWE, AEW creative has been on the slump, the one thing that has been consistently really interesting has been MJF and Jay White. And that has started before Wrestle Dream. MJF and Jay White had their promo exchange about 5 weeks ago. Or maybe, it was longer than that. It's like 7 weeks ago now. Jesus.
Yeah, 7 weeks ago, roundabout.
And there's been this constantly running mystery around this devil character who MJF claims is not him. Sort of a whodunit, if you will. You know, blasting the Acclaimed through windows.
Just make sure Ryan Johnson isn't doing creative for this.
Oh, yeah. Blasting creative. They have been blasting creative through windows. Blasting the Acclaimed through windows and attacking others. A lot of speculation. Obviously, Adam Cole has been injured, so he's been on Skype with Roderick Strong and the Kingdom throughout all this feud. And Bullet Club Gold has surrounded Jay White throughout this feud. So, yeah, and MJF has a lot of people going at him, you know, challenging him in all sorts of areas. We've had Kenny Omega, we've had Daniel Garcia, we've had Samoa Joe, we've had the Devil, we've had Wardlow. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. We were supposed to have CM Punk with the real world title, but that's not happening. Or is it?
It's not.
Nah, it's not. Yeah, so I actually am very much looking forward to this. I think this could be a great match. Both guys are white hot. And yeah, crazy to think that Jay White was in New Japan at the start of the year. And now he's wrestling for the AEW World title. I have predicted MJF to retain. We also have the rule of main events get a ×2 multiplier. I'm also choosing this as my Genesis pick. So if MJF wins this match, I get 4 points. Which is massive. If Jay White wins, I get 0.
Yeah. Well, I've also gone for MJF, and this is also my Genesis pick.
Oh my god.
Well, yeah, I didn't pick it yet, so realistically, yeah, we both knew what it was going to be.
Oh god.
We've both gone for MJF.
So we both.
I mean, realistically, I could have gone for Who Signs and the Devil. I could pick, but I've gone for this match because it's going to be 4 points.
Because it's the most predictable outcome. Arguably.
Yes, it is. I don't think they're going to have Jay White win this match.
I mean, I'd find it more believable for Jay White to win if they weren't making the entire story around World's End based on MJF's contract expiring in kayfabe.
Yes. Yeah.
So
it's the heart of his run is more than that. To be fair, it's him developing as a person and eventually, I imagine, resigning in kayfabe.
Yeah. Yeah, because when he was saying he was going to leave to WWE, he was a heel. He was all, and also around that time, Vince McMahon was in charge of WWE, so no one liked it. So MJF leaving to go to Vince's WWE was seen as an actual downgrade.
Yeah, if he went now, oh boy, imagine.
Oh, he wouldn't be able to. Well, he wouldn't be able to be as edgy. But I think the problem with him, I think the issue with MJF going to WWE now is that his character has developed so much, it would be really hard to translate that.
Exactly. That's why going now, I'd say go wait another 4 years and then see where WWE is at a point in time.
Well, the thing I wanted to say is that with Cody is that he actually needed a clean slate, and so him going to WWE was a good.
Desperate for it.
So him going to WWE was actually a good thing. And the thing with Jade Cargill is that she hasn't been as developed as MJF. And so her walking into WWE with no character developed yet, apart from what they've shown, is fine. But MJF's story has been so developed that him going to WWE where people don't know who he is, he's going to have to start from scratch, and that's going to have to wipe all those years of work. Also, MJF is such a huge fan of AEW anyway, and what they do. I just can't see him leaving. And
So
if they lost him, AEW would be genuinely fucked because he's their number one guy.
definitely,
It
100%
would
agree
it
with
would be it would be as bad as when Ric Flair left WCW in 1991. Because when he did that and he went to WWF, WCW was really, really tanking for a couple of years. I mean, they had some stars, but without Ric Flair, that company was just not the same.
that. Yeah, yeah,
It's all because
yeah,
of
yeah.
Jim Herd being a prick. Anyway, so the last prediction we have to make is the one that, oh, this is interesting. So, assuming they reveal who the devil is on this pay-per-view, which I think they should. I think it's about time that they don't drag this out any longer.
Well,
Um,
yeah, Devil's been a part of this specific part of the story.
yeah. The devil got revealed before Wrestle Dream, you know?
Hmm.
So, I think now's the time to reveal it. There's a few different people it could be. I think there's two main candidates for me. I think for a few weeks, I was thinking it was going to be Britt Baker. However, as of the last week or so, my mind has flipped to a different person for two reasons. Number one, she did an interview where her saying, "I don't know who the devil is," sounded pretty sincere to me. The way she talked about it, I mean, she could just be a really good liar. But the way that Britt Baker said, "I don't know who the devil is," sounded pretty real. Now, again, she could be lying. And also, you got to remember, she's been off TV ever since the Statlander match. So she has been off TV since before the devil first got on TV, which makes her a potential suspect. And also, the devil mask was last seen before that point in MJF and Adam Cole's locker room, right? So near Adam Cole's bags. So she is still a candidate, and the first appearance of the devil had quite small shoulders and was not a tall person. But then, of course, I remembered who is also not a tall person and who has small shoulders. And also, there was an angle where the devil threw the Acclaim through a glass window of what could be considered real glass. Who was very tied into a situation with the person who inspired MJF to adopt the devil moniker, who was CM Punk, who was originally the devil in Ring of Honor, and who had a fight with CM Punk at the last show he appeared on. That was Jack Perry, who I imagine will be returning to the company at some point soon. I don't like the idea of it being Jack Perry. I think that would be really lame. But I'm going to go for that as my prediction. Just based on the last couple of weeks of things, I just have this weird feeling that it's Jack Perry. I don't want it to be Jack Perry. I think it would be far more interesting if it was Britt Baker. Because I think that storyline, having her get involved in the Adam Cole MJF friendship, would be very interesting. But I just had this weird stink that it's Jack Perry, so I'm going to say Jack Perry's the devil. Who do you think the devil is, Callum?
I also thought for a minute it might be Jack Perry, maybe, but I think that's lame. So, I've gone for, and this is an absolute wild shot, and there's like a very small chance it could be this person, but I've gone for Kyle O'Reilly.
Ooh. Oh, now
I
that's...
think, yeah,
I didn't think of that.
I feel like if he is ready to go, I don't know.
You're the first
No one
person.
knows.
You are the first person I've ever heard say that, name, in terms of the devil.
I feel like I've seen someone somewhere suggest it pod maybe, or maybe I'm just thinking about that in my head. But Kyle O'Reilly, I think would be really cool if he was the devil
Oh, I
coming
think
back.
that would be possibly the best option. Well, obviously,
Yeah.
the best option is CM Punk, but that's not going to happen. Dude, if it was CM Punk, I would be like, how did you pull this off? How did you pull
Yeah,
off
but
a
obviously it's yeah.
you fucking worked you had your technicians work everyone.
Hmm.
What on
Yeah,
earth?
it would be crazy, but it's not.
No.
But I think Kyle O'Reilly would be an excellent choice if he is able to. If he's able to come back. The chance I give myself like a 5% chance it actually is him though. That's the thing. But
Oh, dude.
I think it'd be fucking awesome if it was. But yeah,
I
I've gone for
see Kyle O'Reilly, and you compare Kyle O'Reilly as the devil versus Jack Perry. It's like it's insanely different in terms of quality.
Which one of them has charisma? Who knows?
Oh,
But
dude.
yeah,
Oh, my God. If
yeah,
they do MJF versus Kyle O'Reilly, that match would be
that would bang.
amazing.
That would slap. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely. But yeah, that's my pick.
oh, Kyle
Hopefully
O'Reilly.
I'm right, but I very much
He
doubt
would
it.
genuinely be like the perfect choice, I think.
Generally, if as long as it's not Jack Perry, I'm fine because at least you won't get a point.
I mean, if it like Kyle O'Reilly and Britt Baker, I think are both really good ideas for that.
Well, I guess also if it's not revealed, but I think it should be revealed. But I
It
don't
should
want it to
be.
be Jack Perry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think those two. I think
I
Kyle
guess they would
O'Reilly.
reveal on Dynamite after, but yeah, but
Nah,
it should be on the show.
nah. It's got to be the pay per view. It's got to be the pay per view.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think Kyle O'Reilly and Britt Baker would make sense for the story because they're both related.
It's obviously 3 other people, and maybe it is the Kingdom, but we don't know.
Oh no! If it's Roderick Strong, what?
No, what I'm saying it's the Kingdom with Kyle is what I'm saying.
Oh right, the
Kyle is
Kingdom with Kyle
the
O'Reilly.
ringleader. That'd
Oh,
be interesting.
oh dear.
But if it's 3 new people, that'd be also interesting.
Yeah, because Kyle O'Reilly has been heel for his entire AEW run, if I remember correctly.
He has. He
Yeah.
has. But I think this would be like proper pushing him for that main event spot.
Oh,
Because
yes.
he did it with Cole in NXT. He's more than capable.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh.
Yeah.
Every time I think about Kyle O'Reilly,
Watch it be Bobby Fish. Watch it be Bobby Fish.
oh,
Where's the
where's
lie?
the lie? I would genuinely. I think I'm not gonna. I'm gonna put this out there, and this is a hot take. I would rather it be Bobby Fish than Jack Perry.
Oh yeah, that'd be funny. That'd be fucking hilarious.
I think. And no, genuinely, MJF cutting a promo on Bobby Fish would be the funniest fucking thing ever.
But Bobby, where's the lie? He would that you if he didn't do that line, I'd be annoyed.
Yeah. But yeah, Kyle O'Reilly. Every time his name gets brought up, and I've mentioned this on other videos, I just think about how there was obviously I don't know what the name was going to be, but Takeover 37, which never happened, was supposed to be Kyle O'Reilly winning the NXT Championship off Karrion Kross, and I'm so angry we didn't get that. And it's all because of Vince.
Yeah.
It's all because of Vince McMahon.
Yeah, and that's why he left.
And instead of winning the NXT title from Kross, he got put in a tag team with Von Wagner.
Yeah, and then he left with
And
Gargano at the same time.
And that was 2021 green as grass Von Wagner as well.
Oh yes.
I mean, that whole roster was green. Jesus.
Oh yeah, I saw a clip on Twitter. Didn't Von Wagner turn heel on him but then get beat up?
Yeah. Yeah, Kyle O'Reilly.
I saw that the other day.
Because the
That's
thing is,
fucking
because
funny.
Kyle's instincts were too strong and Von Wagner was too much of a rookie, and he tried to turn on him, and Kyle could see it coming.
That's what they tried to. That's what they tried to tell. But that when you do that as a heel turn, I don't think that works.
It just made Von Wagner look shit.
It makes him look like an absolute fucking idiot.
And the only person who benefited was someone who left the company literally weeks after it.
Yeah. Oh, what a strange time.
Anyway, I think an hour and a half's enough. Anything else you want to say before we clock out of the stream?
Hopefully it's a good show. I think only half the matches have potential to be legitimately great. 1, 2 could be very good. And then you have the Golden Jets match.
Oh god. Yeah, well, you never know. The
If they start off this show, obviously it'll be on the pre-show, but they start off this show with MGF losing their tag titles because of Samoa Joe, I will be like 10 out of 10, best pay-per-view of the year, because that'd be fucking awesome. And if the devil was Kyle O'Reilly, that's an all-timer.
You know what? This is a wild shot in the dark. But you know who would be the most insane person? That it's never going to be this person, but would literally make
Tony Khan.
Okay, that's actually that is worse than Jack Perry. That is worse than Jack Perry, and he has small shoulders too. But the most like, if I was to think of a person where every single person, every single viewer watching the pay-per-view would collectively shit their pants at the same time, imagine, and this is fantasy booking and it's never going to happen, but imagine if the devil was John Cena. After he's just lost to Solo at Crown Jewel, he's gone to AEW.
You can't see the devil. Now you all see me as the devil.
Or even, like, yeah, imagine if it was Cena, or imagine it was The Rock. If The Rock was the devil.
If you smell what the devil's cooking up. Oh, fucking hell.
Look at the tongue, look at the tongue. Yeah. What if it was just What if it was just MJF?
Well, if that was MGF, I'd be like, I'd be like,
oh my god! I just had my brain. What if it's bloody Tits McGee? Bloody MJF's new girlfriend.
That'd be funny.
And she becomes his valet.
Hopefully it's a good... Yeah.
Oh my god! What if it was MJF's ex? That's not happening. It's not. I mean, technically, in canon, she is a character in AEW because she appeared on one episode of Dynamite.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that is awkward to look back at now, though.
Yeah. That is very awkward to look back on. Just after he beat Punk twice.
That's right. That's right. Anyway, thank you. Thank one person who watched this stream.
I think it was me.
Yeah. Anyway, you all, and anyone who checks us out on the VOD, I know Azmat will be watching this. I hope you enjoyed, and yeah. Yes, it says average view duration 1 hour and a half, so it's definitely you. Yeah, hope any of you on the VOD enjoyed this, and we'll be back for the full gear review after the pay-per-view.
Yeah, it'll probably be what, Sunday, maybe, if we have time to do it then.
We'll figure it out.
Either Sunday or Monday.
Alright, we'll figure it out. We gotta figure it out. I'm gonna go to sleep now, so yeah, goodbye, have fun, goodbye, bid you adieu, mwah, mwah, mwah.
Bye-bye, and bang. And Codebreaker.